Today we're making black and white cookies. In upstate New York and England, they're commonly referred to as half moons, whereas in the Midwest, they're often called harlequins. Whatever you want to call them, this cake-like cookie is absolutely delicious, and I'm going to show you how I make mine. To get started, we need 10 tablespoons of softened butter, preferably salted. If you're not going to use salted butter, add in half a teaspoon of salt. And 1 cup of sugar. We're going to cream these 2 ingredients together until light and fluffy. As a side note, a list of ingredients and directions can be found down in the video's description box. An ingredients list will also pop up on the screen towards the end of this video. Next goes in 1 egg and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. There are additional extracts you can add in that are considered acceptable for this cookie, which would be lemon extract or almond extract. Should you desire these flavors, just know that they're meant to be very subtle flavors in the cookie and not at all overpowering. I would suggest adding half a teaspoon of either if you really want those extra flavors. If not, that's totally fine. I personally prefer it without. For the last remaining wet ingredient, we need 1/3 of a cup of full-fat sour cream. Don't forget to scrape the bowl as needed. For the dry ingredients, we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Also to note, for this recipe, I scoop directly into my flour container with my 1 cup measure, not the spoon and level method, which is normally considered the correct way to measure flour. Next goes in half a teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. We're gonna mix just until combined. Just a heads up, this batter, in my opinion, is a cross between a cookie and a cake batter-like consistency, which makes sense since this cookie is very cake-like in texture. That being said, once you're done mixing, you'll either want to use a very large cookie scooper or transfer your dough into a piping bag. This dough is just not firm enough to ball up with your hands without making a complete mess, and we definitely want nice round cookies. I opted for the piping bag method. For the piping tip, I chose one that was obviously too small. You can use a Wilton to a piping tip, or in my case, I just snipped off the tip from the bag after I realized the one I chose was too small for this job. This recipe makes 16 cookies, 16 big cookies. That being said, when you go to pipe out your cookies, you're going to want to squeeze out a fairly large amount. And also space them at least 4 to 5 inches apart because they will spread during the baking process. As you can see here, I have some peaks on my cookies. Before you toss your cookies in the oven, make sure to tap those down into a preheated oven at 350 degrees for 15 to 18 minutes depending on your oven, or until the edges are slightly firm and golden brown. We're gonna let our cookies completely cool on our baking sheet before we move them anywhere. To make the black and white coating on top, I'm using candy melts for mine. If you'd rather use actual icing, I'll have those measurements and the directions listed down in the video's description box. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using chocolate over icing. Personal preference, or rather in my case, I'm using what I have on hand. To melt the chocolate, there are detailed instructions on the back of the package. A good rule of thumb though is 1 to 2 minutes, stirring every 30 seconds or so. You do not want to skip the stirring part, otherwise you risk burning your chocolate in the microwave. Once your chocolate has melted and looks something like this, you're going to want to thin it out with something so it's not so chunky. To do this, you can use a variety of things: coconut oil, vegetable oil. Wilton sells something called Easy Thin Dipping Aid. Honestly, any flavorless, odorless oil will do. I'm going with vegetable oil. I also do this with my cake pops. We need about a tablespoon's worth. Mix that in and you'll start to notice a huge difference in your chocolate's thickness. This does look good, although I think I'm going to add in a splash more. Now we're ready to start coating our cookies. To do this, grab a cookie, flip it over to the flat bottom side, not the topped domed side. Grab your offset spatula, or in my case, I'm using the straight edge of a butter knife. Scoop some chocolate onto your tool, and while angling your cookie downwards, let the icing or chocolate drip down your cookie like so. Shake off any excess, then scrape off the edge like so. And that's it, rinse and repeat. I find it's easier just to shake off the excess chocolate versus trying to scrape it off with your knife. As you can see here, I've tried scraping off the extra bits and ended up revealing some of the cookie beneath. So in my opinion, it's just best to shake off the extra chocolate or icing, whichever you decided to go with. Some people like to dip half of the cookie directly into the chocolate, like an Oreo in a glass of milk, which ends up coating both sides. Yes, you can do it that way, but I have read some hardcore cookie people call that cheating. But it's your cookie, you do what you want. Now, depending on how quickly you're working with your chocolate, if chocolate is what you're working with, you might start to notice the chocolate getting more and more chunky as time goes on. That just means the chocolate's cooling down and starting to set. As you can see here, it's not as smooth as it once was. To fix this, pop it back in the microwave for 30 seconds and it should be good to go. You won't need to thin it out, we already did that. It should go back to the flowy consistency we first started with. Once all of your cookies have been coated in the white and the chocolate has fully set, it's time to move on to the dark chocolate part. Same rules apply: microwave, safe bowl, 1 to 2 minutes, stirring every 30 seconds or so. Thin it out with any flavorless, odorless oil. Traditionally, you'll want to use dark chocolate, not milk chocolate, but milk chocolate is what what I have, so that's what I'm using. If you want to stick to the traditional chocolate, go with Ghirardelli's dark chocolate melting candies. We're going to use the same technique as before, except this time we're going to be more precise and try to line up our chocolate directly in the middle of the cookie. Just press the back of your butter knife or offset spatula into the cookie, and that sort of draws a nice straight line of chocolate on the cookie. As you may have noticed when I was applying the white chocolate, I applied a little bit more past the middle point, and that's okay. But for this chocolate part, like I said before, we want to be a little bit more precise and line it up directly in the middle, or as best you can. By the time you get to this darker chocolate side, you should be feeling pretty confident, especially after having iced all of those white sides. You'll get a nice rhythm going and then wonder why you didn't try to make these cookies sooner. You're a natural, darling. I hope this video was to the point and very informative. Let me know in the comments section if you have any questions and I'll do my best to answer them. Here's an ingredients list. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you all in the next video.